Okay, so now getting on to our feature engineering section. We learn to make new data from the data we already have. And this can be an important thing to really help highlight. And so you can just really even analyze. You need to represent this feature in some way so that it can be analyzed. And this is commonly used in machine learning, but it's very simple. In simple contexts, we'll use this in data analysis as well. Okay. So one of the first ways is one hot encoding. It's pretty straightforward in this concept is where we're going to say when it's true, it's a one, when it's false, it's a zero. Okay. So this can be working in so many certain situations. It's really important that we understand this concept if we're ever preparing data for machine learning models or for data scientists making the machine learning models. They'll probably likely request this, very common. And we're just going to say if we have a male and a female category, a gender column, what we're going to do is we're going to say we're going to create two new columns. When one's female, it's true, and then it gets a 1, and then when it's false, it's a 0, and vice versa. The male would be a 1, and the female would be a 0 when it's male. Okay, and so that'll be through the combination. If you make 3 columns, 4 columns, that only one of those will ever be 1 at a time, and the rest will be zeros. And that way, those 3 or 4 or 5 columns can represent the 3, 4, or 5 classes in your category. Okay, so be dog, cat, bird, dog, cat, horse, bird, and so on. So it allows a lot of flexibility. And now things like correlation analysis could be done to understand if that category is present, what is the relationship with your target in that terms. Not perfect correlation because it is just zeros and ones, but it starts to give you that sense and where to explore from here. Another really common one that we'll do, especially when we're analyzing time series data sets, is a shift. This is where we bring the past into the present, and usually you shift by 1 row or something like that. This is very commonly used in financial math. You'll need to know this. We bring last month's balance into the start of today's balance to represent that period. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward, but really important to be aware of how this would work and how we're pulling things forward. Okay, and really this is kind of related to the concept of how we would make things stationary in time series analysis too. We're going to be taking the average, so last month's minus this month's, or last period minus this period's, divided by the finishing period, and that we get our change in, or we can get our percentage change in values. And by getting the percentage change from day to day, we make our data set essentially stationary in that there is no longer Google stock prices represented only by the percentage change, not by its ever increasing stock price or when there's a split. This is really just giving us a sense of the change that's happening. Okay, which is why commonly stocks, we always talk about percentage changes in those because it's more relative with the changing the non-stationary stock price values or index price values. Okay, and really related to shift, if you wanted to do that manually, you could do dot shift and bring the past into the future. But we need that because we need all of the values that we want to do mathematics on to be in the same row. We're doing this is very commonly needed when we're doing financial math.